Howdy YouTube, this is Charles with Our Tiny Cabin Project, and today I'm going to be bringing you my top 5 favorite fishing lures that I use most often, so stay tuned. Hi and welcome back, this is Charles with Our Tiny Cabin Project. I'll be talking about my top 5 favorite fishing lures that I use most frequently when traditional fishing. Now when it comes to rod and reel preference, I have a tendency to prefer the spinning reels over bait casters. And a lot of that's just my personal preference. It's what I used when I was a kid, it's what I'm most comfortable with. And presently my current setup is a Daiwa Revos on a Ugly Stick Ultralight Pro. It's not some fancy $500 setup, but it's not exactly the $12 Walmart special, which I've caught a lot of fish on the $12 Walmart reel and rod as well. So first on my list is a classic, and that is the good old-fashioned inline spinner rooster tail. This lure is really good for just about any sort of reaction fish. It does really well for trout when the trout are more aggressive. It does really well for bass, walleye, and it's one of the simplest lures to use. This is a great lure to start someone out on who's brand new to fishing, because all they have to do is cast it out, reel it back in, cast it out, reel it back in, and it's as simple as that. Number 2 on my list, which is what I fished most frequently last summer and had probably the best luck I've ever had with bass, is a little Swimbait minnow on a jig head. This is probably, in the summer and spring and fall, what I fish the most. Strictly due to the fact that I don't get upset if I lose them, because you get a pack of 10 for $2. In the jig heads, you get a pack of 20 for $2. So it's not like you're losing your favorite, most expensive lure every time. And the action of these paddle tail minnows, I don't think you can get anything more realistic, more lifelike. The thing that's nice about a Swimbait hooked on a jig head is you can flip it and pitch it like a jig. You can reel it out and retrieve it like a crankbait. So you reel, paddle tail causes the action. You'll see the fish track it. Do a little jerk jerk, crank, jerk jerk, crank. Works great. This is probably the most prolific fishing rig out of all of my styles of fishing that I do. Sticking in the realms of soft plastics, my number 3 favorite lure is the Zoom Trick Worm in pumpkin seed. I Texas rigged this, and this is great for slinging into heavy cover, bouncing it off logs and rocks. And this is going to be for more of a finesse style of fishing when the bass aren't necessarily as reactionary. Number 4 on my list, and I fish this a lot in the rivers. I find this to be the most productive in the spring and early summer. And that's a small square bill crankbait. Every now and then you can find these on sale for $1 to $2 a piece, and I'll usually buy 5 or 6 of them at a time, because you do lose them. Fishing in the river, you're going to lose lures, and I don't like to lose expensive lures, so I only buy them when they're cheap. And there's only really 2 types of crankbaits that I really buy anymore. and that is a square bill. And then my last lure I'm going to talk about in a moment. Number 5 on my list is a jerkbait. These are pretty good when fish are staying pretty well suspended just right below the surface of the water. These are shallow diving, very simple. Reel it in, jerk, jerk, reel it in, jerk, jerk, reel it in, jerk, jerk. You want something that has a nice profile. Also, the square bill, when it hits any kind of brush or cover, helps tip that lure up so that way you don't get hung up as often. As you can see, there's tons of different lures, shapes, and sizes and colors to choose from. I'm not necessarily saying that these 5 lures that I've showed you are the best. They are my go-to lures when all else is failing. An honorable mention on the list, I would have to say, would be the rattle trap. This is also a very productive lure.